Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Jess here from Jess Watches Wrestling, bringing you this week's goods and bads in the pro wrestling world. Surprisingly, I was actually rather happy with what the pro wrestling world brought me this week. Mainly good points throughout the companies, a couple of odd bits, but let's break it down to my favourite parts of the week, starting with Monday Night Raw. We saw a great match between Ricochet and Mojo. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of Mojo, you know, the match between these two were absolutely brilliant. Ricochet's unreal. I'm a huge fan of him, of his moveset, and just always impressed with his matches. We then moved on and we've seen an absolutely brilliant segment with R-Truth. This guy's a legend, okay? He is a absolute legend. He interrupted Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman and just continued doing what he does best and makes people laugh, talking about how he was declaring himself in the Rumble, and then he thought that Paul Heyman was in the Rumble, but Paul Heyman is not in the Rumble, but Brock Lesnar is. So he obviously undeclared himself from the match completely. But we saw Brock Lesnar break his character and just laugh at R-Truth, and personally it was just a brilliant moment, absolute hilarious, and R-Truth is he's just so funny and he is just brilliant to watch, and it's just amazing how he can just change a whole crowd's atmosphere just by speaking or just by acting a certain way. Of course he did get, bless him, he did get destroyed by Brock Lesnar. Then he lost his championship to Mojo as well, so that was a little bit sad for him actually. Do you know what? I can't even believe that I'm even going to say this, but we actually saw a decent match between Rusev and Lashley. For weeks and weeks now, I've been moaning about the whole thing. I've been moaning every single week that I've hated this segment. Still not the best things have happened, you know, with Lana and Lashley's horrible wedding, and oh, it's been awful. Let's be real, it's been awful. But the guys stepped in the ring together and it was a tough man match. And it was interrupted by Liv Morgan, but the atmosphere was brilliant. The crowd just popped for Liv Morgan, and you know it was so good for her. And the situation wasn't actually that bad this week in the end. So these four aren't actually on my bad list this time. NXT was also great this week as per usual. We saw a women's battle royal, which, you know, when you see how many of them are actually in the roster, when they're all in the ring together, you do not realise how good their division is. They have got a really strong women's roster, and you know that's without the NXT UK girls as well. So just the NXT all around. Personally, you know, I think a well-deserved winner. Would rather not Rhea lose her title just yet, but you know Bianca is a well-deserved winner. We have still got the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament going on as well. This week we saw an absolutely incredible match between Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, and I think they were against Flash and Andrews. What these two teams are incredible. Flash and Andrews are just, for me, they're one of my favourites. When they make it to the main roster, it's just going to be even better. So, absolutely love them. But, you know, throwing Dunne and Riddle together was brilliant. Their double teamwork was unreal. Overall, absolutely incredible match from these guys. Of course, AEW did actually win the ratings this week by a little bit actually, which, you know, I'm not surprised. They had some fantastic matches lined up. One of my personal favourites, of course, Darby versus Pac. Big fan of both of these competitors, so of course it was going to be a good match. They are just, both of them are just absolutely brilliant, and you know, was not expecting anything less than we got actually. So, you know, Darby seems to improve every time we see him in the ring, and he has got such a good career with AEW. I'm so excited for him. Of course, Cody Rhodes is obviously one of the best when it comes to talking on the mic. You know, he's yet again proved this week why everyone loves him. I don't know many people that don't actually like this guy. So, you know, he's respected by all the wrestling fans, and, you know, the feud between him and MJF is just something I'm actually really invested in. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing kind of what goes down with them two, how it's going to progress a little bit more. It's kind of all in the air at the minute, so I'm actually really looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there between those guys. You know, one bad thing I'd actually say about AEW this week, which I don't have many bad things to say at all about any of this week, but I feel like they just do not push the women's division enough. You know, with this match, it's hard because they have such a strong roster. The ladies they have on their roster are just ridiculous. But they let me down with the women's match this week. It just seemed so chaotic, and I just don't feel like they are just on top with, you know, I don't know, maybe they just don't know what to do with the actual roster yet, which is an absolute shame, if I'm honest with you. It's a shame. But ending the week, obviously we had SmackDown. Do you know what? This is where I talk about the worst part of the week, and I just don't even know. Disappointed actually with SmackDown. Was a little bit of a mess. Not really sure what they were trying to do. I've got a few good points, but then I've got some bad points as well. I feel like it was just kind of thrown together last minute and everyone panicked. That's how it kind of come across. So John Morrison made his return back to the ring against Big E. You know, he didn't disappoint actually. His moveset was brilliant. I'm really happy he's back. Like, it's a childhood dream for me to see him back in there. You know, the little feud they've got with, you know, him and Miz against the New Day at the minute is really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it all happens with them. You know, it could, if WWE get themselves together, it could be a fantastic feud. So overall, it was a decent match, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. One good thing about SmackDown, another point to add to my list of SmackDown this week, was the return of one of my childhood heroes, and that was Kane. Oh, the reaction he got was incredible. So we knew he was coming back. Kind of wish they did like a surprise, like they did with the Big Show, which would have been unreal. But, you know, his reaction was brilliant. I'm not really sure what he's going to bring to the company anymore, but we will see what happens. The Usos are back as well, which they are looking extremely strong. They are looking really good. They obviously have been teamed up with Roman quite a lot recently, so they are looking really good. They had a match with The Revival, which of course was a good match, but I think it could have been better with both teams actually. I think it could have been a little bit better. Other than that, yeah, that was okay that week. That was okay. I won't diss it too much because it wasn't that bad. But we do have a major downfall this week, and it is really disappointing actually. We had a match between Alexa Bliss and Sonya Deville. Don't get me wrong, I am loving this whole little love affair between Otis and Mandy Rose, because it's just like Beauty and the Beast kind of thing. It's lovely. Like, I think everybody's enjoying it, but it should have been done a different way. It kind of ruined the match for me, really. It was all just, I don't really know what happened, actually. It was kind of just all over the place, not really sure what was going on. It should just have been done in a different way, maybe like in a different match, or even if it was her match, but with someone else's match. Wasn't the biggest fan. You know, Sonya and Alexa are really good wrestlers as well. They do deserve some proper ring time, rather being in that mix with the whole love affair with those as well. But of course, I am going to do what I do every single week, and that is to discuss my best show of the week, and it is Raw. Another week of Raw, which I was, do you know what? Yeah, definitely best show this week was Raw for me personally. People may think the same, but that's okay. You know, so much happened this week. So much happened on Raw, and I am loving this new faction with Seth and AOP. You know, if you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Seth anymore. I used to be big time, but not so much anymore. We saw a match with those guys against Big Show, Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe, which, like, I couldn't be happier of. Obviously, the Big Show, you know how excited I am about the Big Show. Absolutely love the guy. I'm absolutely loving this little rivalry they've got going on. Of course, we had Buddy Murphy interfere and join Seth's team as well. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a little bit gripped actually. I'm not sure. Are we going to have Kevin Owens' team expand as well? If so, who would join the team? Hopefully we will find out that when we all next watch Raw. So that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check out my socials. Twitter, Watches Jess, and Jess Watches Wrestling on YouTube. And make sure you have liked and subscribed to Pro Wrestling Unlimited.